All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you might be in the world when you get a chance to view the January showing of Be Your Best 2015. I am Ed Womack, the Life Transformer, your host, and I am joined by the delightful Lady D, Miss Demetra Moore, who has agreed to come on board and help us out and has been a phenomenal addition to the group. She's backstage kind of manning the group. Lady D, are you there?
I am here. Hi, everybody.
All right. So just a couple of housekeeping things here we want to get taken care of straight away because we got a few more people that are trying to get into the Be Your Best 2015 broadcast. And we also want to invite you, if you're not already a member, come on over to the Be Your Best 2015 group. And that's where we're going to invite you to post any questions, add any comments, offer suggestions or kudos, because you are in for such a delightful treat this afternoon. And again, we want to really thank you for joining us on this journey, this movement of Be Your Best 2015. We got a phenomenal lineup. We're going to start things off with Miss Nikki Nickerson. We're going to follow Miss Nikki up with Andrea Harris from Faith and Connection. We're going to then have Dr. Anthony Latson. We'll also be hearing from the wonderful Dr. Denise Dennis today, and then myself and Demetra Moore will kind of clean up, but you are in for such a treat today. So what I want you to do is pay it forward, and across the top of the broadcast, you should see a couple of share buttons. Go ahead and hit one, hit two, hit a couple of them. And just share this with your constituents, those that may not have already registered, and have them come on over and join us because this afternoon is going to be jam-packed with mindful, uplift, encouraging words of you can do it, and so we don't want you or anyone else that you care about to miss this. So with that being said, we want to certainly welcome you, and say thank you again for carving out time to be a part of the Be Your Best 2015 movement. If you don't have a pen and paper, you might want to get one. If you use Evernote, open it up. If you're a Facebook poster, please chime in, join us in the Facebook group Be Your Best 2015. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to my delightful co-host. Lady D, are you there?
I'm here, and I'm excited. I need you to say your quote again. The one you say to me all the time about the bottom is too full. You need to come up to the top. I love that. Say that, Ed, please.
We'll see you at the top because the bottom's entirely too crowded.
The first speaker, I can't even wait. I got to tell you. I just want to tell you about her. She is going to leave you with some information that is going to forever change your life. Her name is Nikki Nickerson. She's referred to as the light coach. So that in itself should say something about her being that she's so phenomenal. She is an encourager, an influencer, and she uses her reach to spread her message of love and light and gratitude. She's a former director of legal and regulatory compliance from LexisNexis. Nikki is a graduate of the American University with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. She earned her law degree from the University of Florida. While at LexisNexis, Nikki made the surprising decision to leave a lucrative corporate career behind and pursue her passion in photography. Both during the corporate tenure and since she mentored many people, she has helped encourage them all to create a life and want them and to be grateful for all the things big and small. Nikki, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Okay.
Great. All right. I'm so glad that you all have decided to join us and to sign in and invest a little time in yourself today. My name is Nikki Nickerson. Whenever I attend events like this, my first question is, who is this person? What's your story, right? So you heard a little bit about my background in the intro. My name, again, is Nikki Nickerson, and I am from the Bronx in New York. And I did leave a career that I sometimes miss, the paychecks, but not the work. I love what I'm doing right now. I've started my own photography business, and I have the wonderful, wonderful opportunity to meet so many people and to add light to a lot of people's lives, both from behind the camera and then in my actual everyday life. And that all came out of a really dark place. So I want to talk to you about where you are right now, because everyone out there at some point or another encounters a situation where you feel that it's really dark and that there isn't a lot of hope, right? And the goal there is always to get to a place where you can see the light. I liken it to being in a room and all of a sudden the power goes out and it's pitch black and your eyes have to adjust, and the first thing that you do is seek out a light source, whether you're smart enough to have a flashlight with batteries, or you go and seek out a candle, or you go outside to see the sun or the moon or whatever. Your first instinct is to seek out light. That should also be your first instinct in life. When you are in those really dark places, the important thing is that you know how to recharge yourself and how to seek out light, because the light is always going to guide you in everything else. If you have the wherewithal and the ability within yourself to rekindle yourself when you feel that light's going low, you'll never get to a point where there isn't any light. And that's really the goal for everyone, or should be the goal for everyone, is to live your life in such a way that there is as much light as possible, that you reflect out in as much light, that people will see you as a beacon, and that that light will also guide you internally, and it will allow you to do the things that you enjoy. So I say that came out of a dark place. I was at a point in my career where I was doing really, really well. I was getting promoted. It was a great company, great coworkers. I do miss them. And I was married, and everything's just kind of going really, really well on the outside. But on the inside, I had reached this place that was really dark, and I couldn't quite figure out how to get that light back, right? So I tried a lot of different things. You know, you shop, you do all of these things. You're trying to fix stuff on the outside. There's stuff you can do. You can try new makeup. You can, whatever it is that you try to feed yourselves. You know, some people overeat. I did gain weight. A whole bunch of different things, but there was a lot of work to be done on the inside. And I share that with you in a sense of transparency, because often when we come to events like this, we hear people telling you great information that you can apply to your life right away, but a lot of times it seems that they have it so together that you can't relate to where they're coming from. So I want to share with you that it hasn't always been this place that's so light and airy and wonderful, because right now in my life is wonderful, right? So it did come from a dark place, and there was work that needed to be done. There were I did seek out counseling. I made some changes, major life changes, and got to a place where I said, okay, if I can find one thing per day that I'm grateful for, and I want you guys to listen to how small this started out, because when you're in the depths of being really low, it can be really hard to focus on something that you're grateful for. One thing. That became my mantra, just one thing. If I could come up with just one thing I was grateful for at the moment, then I could get to the next moment, the next moment, the next moment. And it started out small. Hey, I got that check. I'm grateful. I got it. I got the shower. Grateful. I made it home from work, and it started out really tiny like that. Coffee, tea, whatever. Teeny, teeny things. And then gradually, I would do it once an hour, right? So now instead of one thing a day, I was doing once an hour. And now at any moment that I'm kind of feeling flustered or anxious, it's the first thing I go for. It's like, okay, I'm grateful for this moment, and then I can kind of push on to the next moment. I share with you that it started so from such a tiny, tiny place because that exercise changed the way I viewed everything. And it did get me to a place where I was open to thinking about what did I really want, what did I think was possible for myself, and we limit. I would stop for a minute here because we limit what we think is possible by the parameters of what we've already experienced. So if you haven't experienced being extremely joyful, you limit the parameters of what's possible because you haven't already felt it, right? We also limit things by not thinking about what does that mean to us. We all want to be happy, but what does that look like for you? I had to sit down and really figure out when do I feel happiest? What am I doing? Who am I with? What type of work am I doing? And for me, I felt happiest when I discovered photography, and that happened several years ago. When I discovered photography, I felt happiest when I was behind camera. And everything else, other than time with my family, was really, really secondary to that. If I could find a way to do it, I did it for free. I did it as often as I could. I did it if it meant not sleeping. I did it anytime that I could. I always had a camera in my hand. That was necessary for me. And I realized that in that moment, that's what I needed in order to be happy. So I found ways to do it while working my regular job. And I got to a point where I realized I would go to work and I would count the number of hours I would be done so I could get back to doing what I enjoyed doing. Some days I would go to work and I didn't enjoy it anymore. I didn't enjoy it. There had been parts of my job that I really enjoyed, and parts I didn't like, just a normal fact of life, but there were parts I really enjoyed. I enjoyed it less. And got to the point where I was really unhappy every time I had to go to work. I remember sitting in the parking lot one day. It was really around this time that I made the decision to do something else. And got there, I'd driven an hour and something in traffic, should have been a 30-minute trip, it was an hour and something, and I'm sitting in the parking lot and I'm getting ready to get out of my car, and I said to myself, you know, you have 3 more days left. You should go back home. And I did. I called up the parking lot and I went back home. And I knew after that it was really time to do something else. I didn't want to spend every single day dreading what I had to do. And as it will, you make a decision like that and you put that energy out into the universe. Certain situations and circumstances occur that allow you to do the thing that you're seeking to do. We were going through a buyout and all things seemed to be where it was a good time to leave. And I could depart my company, the company I was working for, and had the opportunity to take first a sabbatical and get myself together and then to start a photography company. And that all came out of that little exercise of what can I be grateful for? How can I be more grateful? Becoming really grateful to be able to identify the things that I was grateful for and what I enjoyed doing, to be able to identify what the next steps were. And in that moment, I think that is what I learned out of it, is that if you can take the time really identify the things that you're grateful for and the things that motivate you and make you happy, you can then apply what comes next. But you have to be able to visualize it and verbalize the things that work for you. When you're in that place, those are really difficult things to do. So to get yourself out of that place, you have to surround yourself with light sources. And whether that's people or books that you read or, or programming that you watch like this, or going out with friends and just kind of connecting and talking and having real deep connections. I think that makes a huge difference in the possibilities that you see for yourself. A lot of times when we're in a dark place, our first instinct is to close ourselves off, and we need to fight against that and get as many light sources in as possible. When you're in a good place, I think that you need to make the step to reach out to people and share what's working for you and what's not working for you so that people can relate to you and kind of learn from you. We talked a little bit about light from that regard and the gratitude, and I'm sorry, I'm reading the notes on the side here. We talked a little bit from the gratitude and stepping into the light and being a light source for others. I think that those are all things that are very important at the beginning of your journey, because you can't do any of the things that these wonderful folks are going to talk to you about on how to improve your life if you don't really think that your life is worth improving, right? You have to be at a point where you see the value, where you see that everything is coming together to work for your good. A lot of us like to refer to the law of attraction, and you'll hear people say, for them it's not working. They have put out into the universe all the things that they're looking to have happen, and nothing's happening. They made a vision board, and nothing happened. They did all of these steps, and nothing happened. What I heard from that, because it wasn't working for me either. So what I did is I started researching how does the law of attraction work? What makes it work? What doesn't, what makes it not work? Or what have you. And I learned that the visualization process is such an important part of the law of attraction. And part of what the visualization process is actually seeing yourself in that situation that you're trying to attract to yourself. So if it's driving a car, it's seeing yourself in that car. What does it smell like? What might you be listening to on the radio? Where might you be driving to? So that the next time you think of it, rather than it being a dream, it's more like a memory. It should have that much texture to it, where you remember what it smelled like, what it felt like, what you were drinking in the car, what was on the radio. It should be a real, tangible thought. When you're visualizing in that way, your mind is telling you it's already done. So it seems so much more possible because your mind is telling you it's already done. There are so many different techniques that can go into visualization, and I'm really big in meditation. I think that meditation is probably the one thing that can change your life the fastest, regardless of any feedback that you get or any other advice that you get today. My one takeaway would be if you're going to invest any time in yourself, that you should really look into meditation. It really helps you to focus your energy on attracting the things that you're trying to attract and on resolving the issues that you need to resolve. All of us have unresolved traumas and situations and relationships in our lives, and in order to get to a place of peace, you have to get to a point where you can resolve those issues. And meditation allows you to do that. If you're not comfortable talking to somebody else, you're basically having a conversation with yourself in your subconscious and learning how to do that. I'm definitely open if anybody wants to inbox me or hit me up on Facebook to give you some tools that you can use to try it out for yourself. I do guided meditation. I'm horrible about sitting and just letting my mind be quiet. It's such a busy place. So those would be my takeaways for that. Having the courage to step out and chase your own passions. that all comes again from a place of feeling like you deserve it. You don't feel like you deserve to have the things that you would like to have in your life. You're not going to pursue them with any fervor. You're not going to be willing to give anything up to get to it. And sometimes you do have to give up quite a few things in order to live out your passions, at least in the beginning. For me, I had to change my lifestyle quite drastically, actually. Get rid of a lot of external things that, external comforts. I downgraded my car and all these kinds of things in order to pursue the things that I was interested in and the career that I was interested in. And I have to tell you, the trade-off's been worth it for me. I can't speak to everyone, but for me, it's been worth it. It's the life that I'm living. I'm much happier. It's a much happier existence, a much better way of life, and it's less materialistic, which is cool. I thought that I would miss a lot of stuff. I do miss a steady paycheck, but things come together and it works out, and it makes you work harder and make more connections. I love the work that I do. My spirit gets fed every day. There is something about doing something that you're very passionate about, where you receive immediate feedback on an almost daily basis that is unlike anything in the world. I've photographed newborns in the hospital a couple of days a week, portrait sessions, and to be operating in your gift and to have immediate feedback and hear people so thankful for the work and for the memories that you're creating for them and for the images that you deliver. There's nothing like that. The opportunity to connect with people on that level, it is such a one-on-one connection, either with the newborns or with the parents or with the portrait subject. It is such a connection. I've made many, many friends during this career transition. The artists that I work with, makeup artists, the stylists, I count them amongst my friends. I have such a diverse collection of friends from both my corporate life and life in photography that it's made life much more rich, and the texture of it is fuller, and the ability to talk to people from so many different varying backgrounds and to have conversations about life and career with people that are doing things all across all gamuts is one of the things that I treasure most. I think that living a life that is guided by light and gratitude and love puts you in a place where you have the tools that you need at any point to combat a lot of the depression and other things that you will be faced with on a daily basis. It does not mean that you'll never have a bad day. I think that sometimes people see my posts and they're like, "God, did you have a bad?" Yes, I have bad days. I have them. I had one a couple of days ago, but I get it a lot faster. I am able to recover a lot faster. I'm able to deal with a negative situation and come out of it and still look at a positive. So I want to thank you for taking the time to listen. I hope that you found it helpful. I am more than willing to answer any questions that you have. And thanks, Ed, so much for the opportunity.
Nikki, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I want you to expound a little bit on the meditation techniques, because you and I, we've conversed a little bit about that, and there was a couple of different ones that you use, and I think that was really a huge takeaway. Can you expound a little bit on some of the meditation techniques that you use or have found to be very helpful?
Okay, I have to say I love Oprah, but I did not love the Deepak Chopra meditations. For me, it was distracting, and it was difficult. I quiet my mind. It tells you to quiet your mind and to sit, and I can't. My mind's a really busy place, folks. So the meditation that I found that works the best for me is the Silva meditations, and that's Silva. Anyone that's interested, just let me know, and I'll send you a link to one that is extremely helpful. And what I like about it is it's not as rigid. They say if if you're sitting there, your nose itches, scratch your nose. If this if it's not taking you into a place where you're so focused on going inward that it's asking you to ignore the things that are going on around you. It is guided, though. So it takes you step by step through the meditation process, but gives you tools so that at any point throughout your day, you can kind of go back into where you were meditation. So sometimes if I get really frustrated, I'm having a really bad day, I can take 5 minutes and go back and I'm in a really good place again. So Silva has been an awesome, awesome meditation for me. I'm happy to send you guys out a link to a sample meditation, and you can see if it works for you. You can reach me on Facebook at Nikki Nickerson. My name is up there. It's exactly as it appears here. And you can follow me on Twitter at N2Inspires. That's in the number 2, the letter N, S-P-I-R-E-S. And hit me up on the web or Facebook, or on if you're interested in photography, at NikkiNickerson.com. Thanks.
Thank you, Nikki, so much. It's a delight to have you all the time. And for those of you that are listening in, do us a favor. Go ahead and put hashtag #LightCoach in the Facebook group, Be Your Best 2015. Reach out and get in touch with Nikki. Today we're being introduced to something that a lot of us may not immediately have been aware of, meditation. It's a great tool to use. Be able to start your day over whenever you want to. You heard it from Nikki. She has good days, has bad days. One of the things I love about Nikki, she does these random gratitude calls that are just awesome. But aside from that, be that beacon, be that source of light. When you walk into a room, make it illuminate. People should be excited to see you when you come in, and I'm always happy when I'm in the company of Nikki. She's a great person. She's delightful and always down to earth, just like you saw today. So, Nikki, again, thank you so much. And please, Nikki, while you're hanging out supporting the other speakers, if you would, go ahead and you post your information and how people can get in touch with you inside of the Be Your Best 2015 group as well.
We're doing exceptionally well. We just have people posting takeaways. Nikki said it best when she said and I summed it up by saying having an attitude of gratitude. That is imperative in clearing your mind. All these great nuggets that she was dropping, people were reading them in the Facebook chat room. So Nikki, great job. My takeaway is have an attitude of gratitude.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Lady D. And we'll keep an eye on the Facebook group. So if you have a comment, have a question for one of our speakers or any of our speakers, go ahead and post it in the Be Your Best 2015 group, and we'll make certain to periodically check in with Demetra to see if there's any questions out there. And with that being said, again, we want to thank you, Nikki Nickerson, so much for, one, being bold and taking that step to moving into what you want to do instead of what you got to do, knowing that there are some peaks and valleys in order to try and get there. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for being so transparent with us today. So coming to us next in our pecking order of phenomenal speakers this afternoon, we are blessed and fortunate to have Andrea Harris. And she's from Faith Connection. And just a little bit about Andrea. I sent out this random post saying, hey, need some speakers. We'd love to host you and showcase you, because this show is not just about, we have all the answers. It's about being able to share a platform, allow some people to be exposed that you may not see, but also to help us collectively work toward solutions for others. And when I was talking with Nikki during her pre-screening interview, one of the beautiful things I love was an acronym of her company, which is FAITH, which is finally allowing it to happen. I was like, oh, I love that. I love it. And before we get into her formal introduction, she was kind of like, well, I would like to be a part, but I haven't done this hangout thing. And she's just been a rock star pupil and student, and I'm just delighted. And the marketing that she's been doing for this event, thank you so much, Andrea, for the energy that you put into it. So without further ado, let me go ahead and kind of give you guys a formal introduction, and then I'm going to turn the camera and the mic over to Andrea. So found inside of Andrea T. Harris is her strong will to allow herself to grow through life's seasons or through life's process. It's no question as to where her strength derives. Andrea's roots are heavily planted in her relationship with God. She lives, moves, and exists in God, taking each day as it is given to her. Andrea proclaims, "Today is the day that I live. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today." Learning to live, Andrea embraces who God created her to be and moves graciously through that calling. Yes, there were many setbacks, disappointments, trials, and waiting periods even. It was determination to make it through the process that kept Andrea on course. Her tenacious appetite to not give up, even in the face of adversity and despair, constantly propelled her into each season God prepared just for her. I am so ecstatic to hear what Andrea is going to share with us, because her topic today is growing through life. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you, because there's a lot of other accolades and awesomeness about Andrea, but I'm going to go ahead and turn the mic over and the camera over to Andrea. So Andrea, mic check, are you there, dear?
Yes, I am here.
Awesome, awesome. So we hear you and we see you. So it is your stage, lady.
Hello, everyone. I am excited and humbled to be here to share with you my story of going through life. Life has a journey that presents seasons to us, and it's only when we grow through them that we are changed in the process. And I just want to give you a few tips on becoming your best, being your best for 2015. First of all, best, it's actually leading. It means leading. It means to be the most excellent. And so I encourage you to be the leading you. You may say, well, who am I? You find that out by accessing your GPS, and the G representing God. He is the foundation of who you are. He created you, and he knows who you are. So to be your best you first have to tap in and know who you are. And also, you may say, well, okay, how do I ask him? How do I know? How do I know this is actually what I'm supposed to do? Just seeking his face, worshiping, praying, studying the scriptures, seeking out mentors that are geared toward helping you, pastors, whatever it may be. But God is the foundation of who you are, and that's the first step into being the best you. The next thing is your purpose. Your purpose, I look at it like being a flower, and it developed through so many different things, which starts back with God, and he is basically like the light. And so you need a light for the flower to grow, and then you have your seasons. And seasons are an opportunity to identify your purpose. There are nutrients from the soil, air and water that helps develop a flower to bloom. So the first step is just tapping into your GPS, God, purpose, and season. And the main thing is to grow through. We constantly say, okay, I'm going through this is taking place. But if you don't grow through, then you're not being the best you. You're not extracting everything that you need to grow, to mature, to develop, to be the leading you. And
Andrea,
yes.
I need to stop you, because you are cutting off your face and we can't see your mouth with the lower 1/3 thing. There you go. There you go.
Hi.
All right. Awesome. There we go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I am.
There you go. Rock and roll.
Yes. Okay, so just basically pulling out everything that is vital to you for your season. And I say to you because every person is different. We're all made different, but we're made in the image and likeness of God. And there are things that I may go through to grow through that is different from someone else. And it's good to share your stories and everything like that, because it provides hope and expectancy that there is a way out. However, remember that there's some things that God may need to get out of you that he didn't need to get out of the other person towards your development and towards your growth. And to grow is basically just to improve, to become better, to develop. And when you're growing through something, you're moving from one place to another. There's no stagnation. So if you find yourself at a stagnant point, then assess, step back and assess what's going on, where you have been, where you are now, and where God needs to take you, and see what steps need to be done to correct that. And then the awesome thing I found out about life is that it's not only a period of existence, but it is the ability to grow or change. And I found that so fascinating. And then existence is the reality presented in experience. So life is just a journey. And if we change our perception about life, knowing that the ultimate result is that we fulfill our purpose, then we would go through a lot of things smoother. Not that everything is going to be comfortable or accepting or even not hurtful, but knowing that they all work for the good to fulfill your purpose in God. And I just encourage you to embrace the seasons and make sure that you extract growth and evolve through. I'm going to quickly share maybe 1 or 2 stories of how I grew through certain seasons in my life. One period was in 2009. I went through sickness. I hadn't experienced anything else other than just the normal cold. And I was tired one day at work. I normally leave work in the evening to get home and work out. And I was on the treadmill, and I'm no longer than 3 minutes. And I just lost breath, shortness of breath. I just felt like I was dying. And so I went to the doctor for a checkup, and ended up I had overactive, well, my lab results showed that I had overactive thyroid, but I had the symptoms of underactive thyroid. So the doctor declared me a rare case. He even said I was very peculiar, which I am. And the levels were skyrocketed. Like, let's say the normal level would be 200. Well, my number was maybe 50,000. It was just amazingly off the charts. And so they were in amazement as to I was still alive. And so from there, it was just a journey of almost 6 months to a year. I was in Houston and my immediate family in Louisiana. And so I knew a few people there, but I was in a season of where I was going through this, something I've never been through before, and then basically alone. And so through that, and I thank God for that, because had I been around people that I could pull strength from and be dependent upon, I wouldn't have extracted the necessary things in that season for me to grow and mature and develop into my purpose. And so just through there were many days where I was tired. I barely could get up to go to work. I had to rely on a coworker to come pick me up to go to work. There were several days when I drove to work that I would have to stop and just, rest a few minutes and then drive a little further. And through that time, my relationship with God developed more. I became closer to Him. I began to seek Him even more, and it was through that season that He shifted me into more of my purpose of being an intercessor in the earth realm, a person of counsel and coaching. And I say intercessor in the earth realm is because not only do I intercede as far as praying for people, but I stand in the gap for whomever I pathway I'm placed in, that's where faith connection is. I connect others to solutions to their destiny, whether it's a financial need, a need helping to further their education, starting to develop in a business, whatever the need may be. I find myself as the standing person on their pathway and journey through life to reach whatever goal or destiny that is. And I thank God for that season. I look back on it now, and there are many days I cry tears of joy, because had not I have allowed Him to process me through that season, I would not be experiencing the abundance of life now. And another season I recently went through was after I received my master's in counseling. Now, the normal pathway is, okay, take the state exam, become an LPC. And the first time I took the exam, oh my God, I failed the exam, and I think it was maybe like 5 or 6 points off. Distraught. I was so distraught. I cried, literally boo-hoo. I called my mom, a couple of my best friends, and they were so concerned because I could hardly breathe. I was crying so hard. And so I regrouped from that, waited a couple months, studied some more, and went back and took the test again, once again. This time my scores flipped. It was the same amount, 6 points away from the score needed. However, what I was low in the first time, the second time I was high in, but then another area I was low in that I was high in the first time. So I was still a little distraught, but I began to seek God to say, okay, what is the pathway you want me to take? I know this is the end result. I know that you've called me to counsel in the earth realm. So how do you want me to get there? Well, I took a few months off and kind of prepared a little more. And this past November, I took it for a third time. This time, going into taking the test, I said, okay, God, if I pass the exam, all is well. If I don't pass the exam, all is still well. So after taking the exam and getting the scores off the printer and walking out the door, I flipped it over and I smiled. And I knew then that, okay, God has shifted me. Or no, that I am on the wrong pathway. So I felt once again I wasn't really feeling one way or the other. And when I told different people that I didn't, I was like, oh my God, what happened? You know, okay, go again. You're going to pass the exam. And my response to them was that it's either not the season or it's not the pathway. And even in that, I received so much encouragement, and mostly everyone was saying, okay, it's just not the season. And that's one thing I want to encourage you, that when God shares to you who you are and your purpose in life and the different pathway you should take, be confident in that and move in that. I love the encouragement that I received, and everyone's like, okay, go again, take it, don't quit, don't quit. And it's not that I'm quitting, it's that I'm going the right pathway. And I think it was later that day, I was talking with my mom, and she said something so profound that literally put me further into confidence in the pathway God was taking me. And she said, well, maybe that's just not the way God wants you to counsel. Maybe it's through your writings and speaking in your books. And I was like, wow, that's true. And so I did publish my first book in last July, Seasons of Life, Changed in the Process, and I'm working on volume 2. And since November, I've written several blogs. I've started my life coaching and mentoring, and then I'm doing this webinar. So it's amazing as to the pathway one may take to reach their purpose and another. So I encourage you to seek God for your purpose and know that there are seasons. And there's one other thing I want to share with you is that in Ecclesiastes 3:1, it says, to everything there is a season, and there's a time for every purpose. So there's a time that you may be walking in this area of your purpose, and then a few years later you've shifted in another area. It's not that you changed purposes, it's just there was a time for that purpose. For instance, if you're called to teach, you may have worked in the school system for 30 years, and then upon that time, when that season has ended and that time has ended, then you may become a public speaker, and you teach people how to know their purpose or know the education path they want to take. So there are different avenues to our purpose. Just be open, be the best you can be, which is allowing room for growth, improvement, development, change, however it may come, and just be the leading you. And so that's all I have for you today.
And that is absolutely magnificent. Andrea, thank you again for taking out time in your day. And we're not going to pass the collection plate, but you definitely brought some spiritual nuggets up in here. We so appreciate you, because it requires a number of different ways and things in order to get to that ultimate purpose and that ultimate destiny. And certainly, you know, there has to be some spiritual element to it. So I thank you so much for that. I want you to expound on that season change. You did a great job, and girl, don't even tell me you nervous no more, because you brought it today. So thank you so much. But expound on that. You mentioned the season of where your path was going, and then you realized that as you were taking tests. Help me understand, or help our audience understand even more so, a little bit more about that season, and what did you do to kind of, you know, brace yourself or just get yourself ready to go to that different level? How did you do that?
Well, it took a few days for me to come to myself. You know, I am a determined, sometimes stubborn individual. When I put my mind to something, I try to see it all the way through. And so it took me a few moments to kind of gather myself and say, okay, Andrea, just surrender to God and say, okay, what is it that you want me to do? So it took moments of praying, fasting, separating myself from some things, from people, and just really zoning in to hear and understand the pathway that God was taking me. So there was a time and season where I had to go through loneliness. And I say loneliness as far as I wanted to reach out to people for their assistance, for their help, for their advice, but God wouldn't allow me to. And that's the thing you have to do. You have to be able to hear from Him and know from Him for yourself, so that you can move forward in that. Because a lot of times people may see things or know things that you should do, but God only shows them a part of that. The Bible says we know in part and we prophesy in part. So you need to get the full conclusion of the matter, and that's through Him. So the season change, you have to shift your total life, whether it's mind, heart, the things you do. There has to be a shift in what you're currently doing so that you can move forward to where you need to go.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So one more time before we let you go, how can our audience get in touch with you and stay connected to you?
Okay, growing through that life is one way. There's information about my book, my blogs, life coaching. I'm on Twitter, IAWLNOW. That stands for It's a Wonderful Life Now Coaching. And also on Facebook, ATHFAITH.
Thank you so much. And for those of you that are out there taking in these awesome nuggets of wisdom, I want you to do us a favor. Let's give both Nikki Nickerson as well as Andrea some virtual applause. Go to the Facebook group, Be Your Best 2015, and put a nice comment out there, some encouraging words. Put some takeaways that you may have gotten. Hashtag Light Coach for Nikki. Hashtag Growing Through Life for Andrea Harris.
Yes.
And ladies, thank you so much for your energy, for overcoming your fear, for stepping outside of your comfort zone and joining us on Be Your Best 2015 today. So for those of you that are like, oh my goodness, this is pretty good, I want to share this with somebody. There's buttons up top. Go ahead and click 1, click 2, click it a couple of times. Share it on your timeline. Share it on your fan page. Share it on a friend's timeline. But just pay it forward, because what we're putting together here in this Be Your Best 2015 movement is, again, what we've come to realize is that success is a team sport. You can get there on your own, but why? When you got so many people that are willing to support and stand in agreement with you to help you move to that next level. Lady D, Miss Demetra, how we doing in the Facebook group? Do we have any questions out there?
We've been just getting takeaways, and I actually need to share one with you. I think it's Otis actually said, Andrea, thanks for your power. So people are definitely listening and taking away those nuggets that you dropped. So you did an extraordinary job.
All right. Awesome. Otis, thank you so much for joining us. All right, but we're going to keep things moving. And up next, I believe it's going to be Dr. Anthony Latson. And Ms. Demetra, I believe you have the honor of getting to introduce Dr. Latson. Is that not correct?
That is correct. Dr. Latson is an extraordinary person. I'm just reading over that introduction, and to say that he survived a 650 blood sugar level and had to be taken to the emergency room, that was several years ago, but that in itself deserves a virtual applause. So everybody, if you can, go into the chat room and be sure to state something about that, because that in itself is a blessing. This incident prompted him to reevaluate life. He started to look at the meaning of it. He found Christ through this incident, and I can truly understand why. Again, 650 blood sugar level, that is serious. And he dedicated his time after that to start teaching people how to discover and design a life that's worth living. He authored a book, he became a speaker, a seminar leader, and even a life consultant. And many of his clients experienced a dramatic, life-altering shift that can only be explained by the word wonderful. Dr. Latson is a regular guest on national and international radio and television programs. He's an active contributor to various nonprofit organizations. He lives in New York, where he was born and raised with his wife and daughter. His wife is named Kim. His daughter's name is Jessica. And to meet him, you can look. He's going to share his contact information and URLs and things like that, so you can find him online. But I'm not going to waste any more time. Dr. Latson, take over the mic.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here, and I'm fired up because the people that were speaking before me, look at the camera. The people that were speaking before me, they got me fired up. And Andrea, you just got me so excited. I was like, wow, what can I say after that? What can I present after that? Because those are some powerful speeches by Andrea and Nikki. And I just want to say thank you for Ed for having me on here, Mr. Womack, Brother Womack, because this is just an opportunity just to share a message, and not only share a message, but to share to the world that it's possible to become anything they want to become. And I just want to say hi to my wife, Kim, and to my daughter, Jessica, who has my heart. She has my heart in her hand. And I just want to share one thing that she told me in the new year that I want to share with you. And then when the new year came in, we were saying, Happy New Year to everybody, Happy New Year to everybody. And I told my daughter, Happy New Year. And she said these words. She said, Happy New Year, best year ever. And I said, Happy New Year. She said, best year ever. And I want to say to you, everybody that's listening right now, this will be your best year ever. No matter what happened in 2014, what happened in 2013, what happened yesterday, this will be your best year ever. I want you to keep that in your mind right now, because if you don't keep it in your mind will tell you, what year is this? What year will this be? You will say, this is the best year ever, and on forth, this year will make it your best year ever. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I understand it's better to give than receive. So I want to give you a free gift. I have a book called Shift, Unlocking Your Greatness to Live Your Designed Life, and I want to give it to you for free. It's an ebook, and all you have to do is text the word SHIFT, S-H-I-F-T, to 718-395-5522. text the word shift 718-395-5522. And you will get instant access to that free ebook. Now that we have that free gift out the way that I want to give to you, just for showing up to this awesome platform, just to hear us speak, I give you that free gift because this is the best in 2015. Thank you for showing up, because that means, and it tells me that you're ready to receive what you need to get your life to the next level. So I want you to say these 2 words that can take you to another level in your way of thinking, in your way of life, in your business. Just say these 2 words. And the 2 words are pay attention. Say pay attention. Because Daniel Ortega said, tell me what you pay attention to the most, and it'll tell me who you are. Tell me what you pay attention to the most, and I'll tell you who you are. And that's powerful. Because you paid attention to something that caused you to show up on this broadcast. You paid attention to something that caused you to take action, to opt in, to give your name and information so you can watch this broadcast. Because this broadcast can change your life. And I'm here to tell you that for you to pay attention to a strategy or principle that's being presented to you today, someone is depending on you to pay attention, because their life might be dependent upon what you pay attention to. You see, I know that to be true because I met my father when I was 10 years old. And we had like a love-hate relationship. You see, I love to hate him. And I'm just being honest with you. I'm just being transparent. I love to hate him because he was so disciplined. He wanted things done in his way. And at that time, when I first met him, I was a little kid. I just wanted to do stuff that I wanted to do. But as they said, the rod, don't spare the rod. Well, you spare the rod. Beat your child so he can be the better person he can be. I'll paraphrase it. So that's what happened to me. And my only way of escape of being beaten, into correction was, to watch TV. So my favorite show at the time was Punky Brewster. How many people remember Punky Brewster? You see, Punky Brewster was a TV show. It was educational. And one day she had a show on it that was teaching us how to do CPR. Mouth to mouth resuscitation. Somebody pass out or have a heart attack, you could bring them back. And during this show, I didn't pay it no mind. I just said I didn't need to watch this little girl trying to show me how to do CPR and all of this, just nonsense. But it was teaching me something of value. How many people ever had something of value presented to them and you didn't pay attention to it? You see, that was me. I didn't pay attention to it. But little did I know, a few weeks later, I came home from school. I was happy. I was, happy. I came home from school and I opened the door and I saw my father laying on the ground. And as I got close, he wasn't breathing, and I didn't know what to do. So I called out to my mother and I said, "Ma, come quick. Jimmy's not breathing. Call 911." And I got on my knees and tried to, do something. I said, I could do CPR. Yeah, I could do. I tried to remember, do chest compressions, 4 or 5, and pinch the nose, or tilt the head back. I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember and focus what to do. Standing there trying to remember what to do. And I realized, those in the 1%, those who make the world economy move, those who make those decisions in the world, they pay attention to the strategies and principles to get them to the next level of success. But I couldn't pay attention to a little girl to teach me how to do CPR that could save my father's life. It was open, and I took his head in my arms, and his eyes was just looking in the distance. And I was telling him, don't leave like this. I just met you 4 years ago. Don't leave me like this. What seemed like hours, but it was only minutes. The paramedics came, but I saw on this earth. Why? Because I didn't pay attention. I didn't pay attention to a strategy or principle that could have saved my father's life. So I'm saying to you, what is it that you need to pay more attention to that could take you to the next level in your life, the next level in your business? What do you need to pay more attention to that could save your life of stress and headache? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to present to you 3 strategies and principles on how to have the best year ever. How to have the best year ever. Because you have dreams and goals that you want to have in this, that you want to accomplish in this year. Not only in your life, but in this year. You want to see manifest now. But what do you need to do to have that manifest in your life now? And I want to share with you 3 principles. I have 7, but I want to share with you 3 in the time that I have. And the first one is learn from those at the top of their game. Yeah, learn from those who are at the top of their game. Because like my brother said, the bottom is too crowded. Meet you at the top. Those who are at the top of their game, they know how to stay at the top. They know how to get to the top because of the principles and strategies they use to get up there. But while they're up there, they need to maintain their status of being at the top. So they know the principles and strategies. So you need to learn from those at the top of their game so you can get up there. I'm telling you this because there's so many people saying, I want to be at the top. But if you're looking for those people on the bottom and tell me, how do I get up there? How do I get to the top? But somebody up top is waiting for you to ask them how to come up a little bit higher. I want you to hashtag say, come up a little bit higher. Because you need to learn from those at the top of the game because they're waiting for you. Somebody with your name is waiting. Somebody is waiting for you to come up there because they're waiting for you because they know and hear your name saying, come on up a little bit higher. When you learn from the top, those at the top of the game, there are 3 ways you can learn from those at the top of the game. Number 1, those can train you on how to do something that you never did before. That's what a trainer does. Train you on something that you never did before, and he'll tell you how to do it. The second way you can learn from those at the top of the game is a coach. Somebody who can take what you already have inside of you and enhance it, tell you how to use it. That's what a coach does. And the third way is a mentor. Somebody who's at the top and telling you, look, you don't have to go that way because that's a pothole. You don't have to go that way because that's a ditch in the road. Go this way because I've been this way already. That's what a mentor does. That's why me and my wife, we went to Les Brown and he said he will mentor us. He's not only our mentor, he's our partner, our business partner. That's why you learn from the top of the game so you can get to the top. And once you get to the top, you can stay at the top while you're learning these strategies and principles and implementing them so you can stay at the top of your game. The second way to make this the best year ever is to have an accountability partner. To have an accountability partner, someone to hold you accountable to that goal or dream you say you want to have or you want to accomplish. Because so many of us say, I want to do this, I want to do that. I want to be a business person. A lot of you on this screen right now, a lot of you here in the sound of my voice saying, I'm an entrepreneur. I said that when I was 16. I couldn't spell it. I made business cards with the misspelling of the word entrepreneur, and the man made the card out anyway. And I'm passing out cards with entrepreneur misspelled. But I didn't have an accountability partner, so I just let that, fly away because life hit me. And I said, I have to deal with my life. But if I had an accountability partner, I would have been held accountable to the goal and dream of being an entrepreneur. Some of you saying you're an entrepreneur, but you don't have an accountability partner. You need somebody to put your feet to the fire and say, you said you want to do what you say you want to do? Did you do these steps that you say you want to do? Did you do the steps that are required for you to maintain your success? That's what an accountability partner would do for you. When you hook up with us, we will hold you accountable. We will kill that procrastination spirit that's hovering over you, telling you you can do it tomorrow. You could do it next week. Tomorrow's not promised. That's what my favorite book tells me. Tomorrow's not promised. So you better do what you got to do today and believe that it's going to take place just like you said it's going to take place, because somebody's holding you accountable. Someone's holding you accountable. And a way to be held accountable that would take place, that will make sure that you will do what you want to do, tell someone you love your goals and dreams, and they will hold you accountable. They don't want you to fail. They want you to succeed. So tell somebody you love your goals and dreams, and they will hold you accountable. They'll come back and say, oh, did you do that work you say you was going to do? Did you fill out that form to get your loan, to get that business loan you say you want to get? You say no, they'll say, well, go out and do it. You say you was going to do it, go out and do it. Steps and strategies, principles and blueprints you need to have to get your goals and dreams to come to pass and to manifest. And the last key, which is major, the last key that I want to share with you is discipline. That's major, discipline. Because you have to be disciplined to get those results you say you want to have. When you're disciplined, you can achieve anything. I'm going to say it again. Matter of fact, hashtag the word discipline in the feed. Because it's a requirement if you want to be successful. If you want to make this the best year ever, you have to be disciplined so you can be successful. And you can look back and say, I'm so glad I woke up 5 in the morning so I can work on my work. I take a nap, 20-minute nap later, but you woke up 5 in the morning so many times it's become natural for you. It becomes natural for you. And when you use discipline in your daily life, everything will fall in place because it's a system and a structure that if you keep doing it over and over and over again, you get the same results. And if you got the right blueprint, you'll get the right results over and over again. To be successful, you need a blueprint. To make this the best year ever, you need a blueprint of success. You need a blueprint of success to be successful. And one part of that blueprint is discipline. Everybody say discipline in the feed. I want you to say discipline so it can get in your spirit. Once it gets in your spirit, it becomes a part of you. And when you say I'm disciplined, if I see somebody's disciplined, I don't hear what they say. I look at what they do. You can say, I want to lose 50 pounds by the end of the year. And I'll look at you and say, what did you have for breakfast? What do you have for lunch? I look at your actions because your actions speak louder than words. And what I want to share you the story because my friend, he was in the Army and he's retired now, but he told me something that happened to him a long time ago that I said it will fit this part of my presentation to the T, because if you get what I'm about to tell you, it'll take you to another level. See, he was in the Army and he wanted to be a Navy SEAL and he went out for the training. And after a while, he was just getting so tired of it. It was so hard. It was a struggle. And he said, well, I was about to give up. And then the major came over to him and told him, look, you got so much inside of you. I know you can make this. What's going on? What's happening? He said, well, he's giving all these excuses. He said, it's so hard. I can't do it. I'm tired. I don't want to work so hard. And the major said, if you listen to what I'm about to tell you, you can make it. If you listen to what I'm about to tell you, it'll be easier for you. It's not guaranteed, but it's up to you. He said, there's 2 types of pain in this world. There's 2 types of pain in this world. The pain of discipline and the pain of regret. You can only avoid one. Choose now, O warrior. The decision is always yours. There's 2 types of pain in this world. 2 types of pain. The pain of discipline, the pain of regret. You can only avoid one. Choose now, O warrior. The decision is always yours. And I said that was powerful. When he told me that, it hit and rang a bell in my mind. And then it went to my heart, and that's where it stays right now. Because whatever you hide in your heart, only you can find it. So I want you to hide that word and quote it in your heart. There's 2 types of pain in this world. 2 types of pain. Pain of discipline, the pain of regret. You choose. You choose because the choice is yours. You say you want to be an entrepreneur. You say you want to be somebody who will be effective in this world, to leave a mark, to leave a legacy. You choose which one you want to choose. Do you choose the pain of regret? Will you wake up in the morning and say, I could have done this to make my life better? Would you say that you could do some more? Will you regret at the end of your life saying, I should have done more. I should have spent more time with my kid. I should have went after my dream. That's a pain I don't want to experience. That's why I'm going after everything I can go after. If I want to be trained by somebody, I'm not going to worry about the cost. The cost doesn't matter compared to what you receive. That's the pain I don't want to experience. The pain I will choose to experience is the pain of discipline. The pain of discipline I would choose anytime over the pain of regret, because the pain of regret will kill you over the long term. It will kill you from operating in your greatness. It will kill you from even touching your gift, because your gift is your uncultivated greatness. So when you say, I choose the pain of discipline, you will be disciplined enough to go after your dream, disciplined enough to go after your entrepreneurship, disciplined enough to say, I take the pain because the pain will feel so much good after I receive my dream in my hand. My dream in my hand outweighs the regret I feel. Because regret, when you carry regret, and I know my time is almost up, but I got to say this. When you carry regret, it's a hard weight to carry. See a lot of old people walking over with their backs bent. It's not because of a disease. It's because they have so much regret. Not everybody, but some have a regret. You talk to somebody who's over 60, 70 years old, and they say, well, I regret not marrying so-and-so. I regret not going after my dream. I regret not even touching or saying hello to somebody that passed away. What I want to say to you, don't choose the pain of regret. Go after your dream. Go after your goal. Go after what's inside of your heart. You have to believe you can accomplish it. My favorite book said, faith without works is dead. You have to work on your dream. You have to work on your dream. Faith without works is dead. I don't want you to die. This will be your best year ever. I don't want you to quit. This will be your best year ever. Don't worry about 2014. Don't worry about yesterday. Don't worry about an hour ago. 2015 will be your best year ever. But for you to get to this, your best year ever, to manifest it in your hands, you need to learn from somebody who's at the top of the game. You need to have an accountability partner. You have to be disciplined. Carry that inside your heart, in the hidden parts of your heart of hearts, and you will have the best year ever. Mr. Womack, are you still there?
Wow, I'm still here. I'm ooh-wee.
This is Mr. Womack. Can I just say a couple of words? Wow. I just want to say thank you for everybody on the panel. Thank you for Nikki. Thank you for Andrea, because when she was giving her speech, something was bubbling up inside of me, and I was saying, wow, I already had a speech prepared to give to the people, but what she said opened up so many things. What she said, wow. What she said opened up so many things. I was like, wow, I'm not going to give the people what I want. I'm going to give the people what they need.
What they need. Absolutely.
What they need.
And I think, and I think you did just that, Dr. Ladson, and we are so excited because the fire and the energy that is brewing from Nikki, from Andrea, from you. Again, we need all kinds, we need all types in order to arrive at that ultimate destiny that's inside of us. And the 3 points that you brought, first and foremost, learn from the top, learn from the best. Incorporate into your life some accountability, and last but not least, make certain that you incorporate some discipline. Hashtag discipline. Come on, people in the audience out there, for Be Your Best 2015, show a little bit of virtual love in the Facebook group 2015. Put your takeaways in there. Put hashtag discipline inside of the Facebook group and show your love for Dr. Ladson. We so appreciate you for taking time out of your obviously busy schedule and sharing with us today. Love you, man.
Not to cut you off, I have something. I have something that I would like to give to the listeners for
all right.
For first of all, sharing their time with you. You're a powerful man, and for them to take a Saturday just to look in, to support you. I support you whatever you do, but for them to support you, I want to give them another free gift if it's okay with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. We like free.
Okay, yeah, I like free. I like free too. Everyone that's in the sound of my voice, everyone who's listening, I would like to give you a 20-minute business coaching session. It's absolutely free. 20-minute business coaching session. And if you would like, to do an assessment of your business, give you some principal strategies, some techniques to take you to another level, or just to talk to you. Because I like reaching out and talking to different people because I'm a learner. I like to teach people, but I get taught by hearing other people different takes and views on things. So if you want a free 20-minute business assessment coaching, just text the word coach 20, coach, COACH 20 to 718-395-5522. 718-395-5522. Text the word Coach 20, COACH 20, and I'll get back to you within 24 hours. This was awesome, Mr. Womack. This was awesome.
And you are awesome. And as well as all of our prior guests and all the guests that are on this panel, thank you again for joining us this evening. And that was Coach 20. Give us that number one more time so we can capture it inside of the Facebook group, Dr. Ladson.
Okay. It's 718-395-5522.
All right, all right. Thank you so much, brother. We'll be in touch very soon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm still here. I'm supporting everybody. I'm still here.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So there we've got about halfway through the broadcast, and I mean, if you're not inspired, if you're not moving, if your mind's not elevating already, just stand by because we got more. But I've been so amazingly blessed, and one of the things that you said, Dr. T, is that you're a learner. I am as well. That's why I didn't just want to be myself on this Be Your Best 2015 movement, because all of the different information, all of the different styles, all of the different stories, they grow in you, they build in you, and I just am so grateful for you guys. And it looks like we got Lady D back now visually. Lady D, how goes it?
It's going.
All right, there she is.
It's going well. I'm sitting in here reading the posts in the chat room. We got Anisha Carter saying discipline and Be Your Best 2015. We got Otis still in the house. We got Shawana in the house, and she's all the way in Arizona. And she posted that discipline is a part of the blueprint. So people have gotten some really great nuggets from you, Dr. Ladson. Good job. Good job.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So thank you, Lady D, for manning the room and getting us back to video. So next up, we're going to switch gears a little bit, but not the intensity. I guarantee you she's about to bring the heat. And I've followed and watched this awesome person, Dr. Denise Dennis, that's about to come at us next. And she's going to give us a slightly different flavor. But again, I promise you the intensity is going to be hot. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the actual, the formal introduction, if you will. Dr. Denise Dennis, the side business strategist, helps entrepreneurs grow their business on the side while they continue to work full-time jobs. Now I'm going to interrupt the introduction because we've heard that there's some spiritual movement that needs to happen. We've heard that some of us go to jobs we don't like on a regular. We've heard that we got to have discipline to get to where we need. Oh my goodness, I think Dr. Dennis is about to just tie it all together and bring us the strategy on how to be a side business strategist and while still working your full-time job, get it done. She is the author of Make That Change, 8 Steps for Crafting Your Ideal Life, and the founder of Prepared Mind Coaching. Dr. Denise Dennis is a coach, trainer, professor of psychology. She has over 20 years of experience helping people make important shifts in their persona and professional lives through her courses, workshops, and coaching programs. Lord Jesus, thank you, first of all. And I give you, without further ado, Dr. Denise Dennis. Are you there, Dr. Denise?
I'm here. I'm here. Mic check, I'm here.
You are
Hi.
loud and clear, and it's your platform, lady.
Wonderful. Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Denise Dennis, the side business strategist. And as Ed said, what I do is help entrepreneurs grow a business on the side while they continue to work a full-time job. And I know that it can be done because I've done it successfully. My own business is called Prepared Mind Coaching, and I have that business alongside my full-time job of being a psychology professor. If you want to be successful in making any kind of change in your life, not just a side business, but for any kind of change, you need 3 things. You need to have a purpose, you need to have a plan, and you need to have a partner. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Purpose, plan, and partner. So if you're taking notes, write those 3 things down. All right, so the first step that you need to do is to have a purpose. And all that means is that for whatever you want to do in life, you need to have a clear vision. What I tell my side business owners is that they need to have a clear vision for where they want that, that business to go. So as you're building your side business, do you want it to stay a side business forever, or do you want it eventually to replace that revenue and be your primary source of income? And it makes a difference. So for example, one of my clients in my group coaching program has a side business, and she bakes cookies for a living as her side business, but she doesn't want it to grow. She wants it to always be something small so that she's not in the kitchen baking all the time, that she does little orders here and there, and she wants it to stay there. So she needs to have that in mind, that that's her vision. For other people, that side business is a step toward replacing that revenue for the full-time job. So you need to think in those terms. Part of the way you develop that vision, or that purpose rather, is to do a vision board. So that, if you look up behind me, you'll see my own vision board up on the wall there. I'm a firm believer in having a visual representation of what you want to accomplish. So think about your where you see yourself. You know, this is Be Your Best 2015. Where do you see yourself December 31st of 2015? Visualize it. What are you doing? Where's your income coming from? Who's in your life? Who's no longer in your life? All those aspects are important. And one of the early exercises I have my clients do is the life balance wheel, where you identify how satisfied you are with your relationship, your career, your health, your financial status, and figuring out what would be the ideal in all those areas. So that is that first step of identifying your purpose. The second step is to clarify your plan. Now, again, I work with side business owners primarily, people who either have or want to have a side business. And I help them develop the mindset necessary to develop and implement that plan. And I want to give you a free gift that if this is something you're interested in, I want to give you my side business success plan, which is just a way of thinking through some of the questions you should consider. So let me just put that link up here. So if you go to sidebusinessplan.com, I just put it down below there, you can click on that link, put in your information, and I'll send that out to you. And all that means is that you need to think about the goals you want to have for your business, or if you're implementing some other change in your life, what is it that you want to accomplish? As you're putting together that plan, write your goals using what are called SMART goals. And the SMART formula means that you want your goals to be specific. Specific means state your goal in as detailed a term as possible. You also want that goal to be measurable. That's the M. So let's say your goal is to lose weight. Well, you make it measurable by saying that you want to lose 20 pounds and 2 dress sizes. So now you can measure that by stepping on the scale, or you can measure that by putting on your pants and, you know, seeing if you can close them yet. So it's something very, something that you can measure and know that you're making progress. The A stands for attainable. And a goal is attainable if it's something that if you were to try, you know that you could accomplish it. So how do we know that? We know that, well, first of all, it's what we think we can accomplish. So for me, if we stick with the exercise or weight loss, it would not make sense for me to say I'm going to run a marathon this year, because I know I'm not going to run a marathon this year. If I tried, I would not be successful. But if I wanted to start running, I could start by saying I'm going to run a 5K this year. That's something that I can visualize. That's something I can see myself doing. And even though I haven't done it yet, I know if I tried, I could do it. And the same goes for goals that you set for your business. So if you are a side business owner or thinking of starting a side business, you want to have a goal that's attainable. So if you haven't started the business yet, maybe it doesn't make sense to say, I want to quit my job this year and have this side business ready to go by December. Maybe that's not feasible. Maybe it's feasible that your side business will bring in a certain amount of income this year, but maybe you need to set an attainable goal that is reachable, that you can actually strive for. The next letter, the R, stands for relevant. And relevant just means, is it important to you? Is this a goal that you're setting for yourself, or do you feel pressured to set this goal by other people, by significant others, by coworkers, by that little voice, nagging voice in your head that you don't really want to listen to, or is it something that you're really passionate about? So I am really passionate about my side business, and I'm really excited when I'm working with side business owners who are really passionate about their goals as well. And then that T stands for time bound. And that just means, when are you going to have that goal accomplished? So if it's the weight loss, you're going to lose 20 pounds by 4th of July. If it is the side business, maybe you're going to grow your list to 1,000 people by June 1st. So something where there's a really clear-cut deadline. SMART goals are so important when we are putting together a plan, because you need that as a starting place. So then, now you know what your goals are. You can break it down into what actions do you need to take to accomplish that goal. What tasks do you need to accomplish those actions? And again, what deadlines do you need to set for yourself? And all of this needs to be in writing. I always encourage my clients, whether they're one-on-one or the group clients, to put all this stuff in writing, and I have forms that I give people to kind of walk them through that process. And that side business plan at least gets you thinking about some of those questions that you want to ask yourself. And again, that's a free report for you. So great, we've identified the goal that we want to set. We've identified that there are some actions that we want to take, but sometimes those actions require behaving in a different way. And we've kind of heard that as a common theme throughout all the presentations today, that we need to do things differently, which means also we need to create new habits. When you're creating new habits, there's 3 things you need to focus on. Those 3 things are intentions, environment, and effort. Intention, environment, and effort. So first, intention is this: what is it that you want to do? What do you want to do differently? And if you set a SMART goal, you already have your intention. If your intention is to lose 20 pounds, and if that's your SMART goal, then that's also your intention. That's what you're working toward. If you're a business owner, maybe you don't like networking, but you know you need to build your list. So maybe your intention is that you will attend 3 networking events a week, and you will speak to a minimum of 10 people at each event. So state your intention. The next thing you need to do is look at your environment. How do you want to adjust your environment, or how do you need to adjust your environment to support that intention? So again, if we're talking about networking, then your environment may be that you download the meetup.com app onto your phone so that you can look and see when upcoming networking events are. Maybe that means that you take your calendar and you block out times for networking, so that no matter what, Wednesday at 7 p.m. you're going to be at somebody's happy hour networking event, something, where you're going to see other people. You may not know what it is yet, but you're going to seek out something in that block of time. You can also manage your environment for networking by making sure you always have business cards on you. So one of the things that I do, I have about at least 10 business card cases with business cards in them, and I put them in any bag I think I might take when I walk out of the house, so that no matter what, if I'm trying to match my bag to my outfit or whatever I happen to grab as I walk out the door, I know that I have business cards on me. And so whether that's your briefcase, your purse, your coat pocket, something where you have some business cards on you all the time. That's setting up that environment to support that intention of networking. But then the third step is to actually put forth the effort. And that can be challenging because that challenge means that you need to actually get up off the couch and go outside, get in the car, and drive to wherever that event is. Sometimes that's the most difficult part, but once you get there, you'll be ready to go. So part of it is that self-motivating piece to get yourself going. But if you have a clear intention and have a clear environment, a supportive environment, you're much more likely to put forth that effort and start creating those new habits. So yes, we need to create new habits, but we also need to overcome some of our old habits. And our old habits might mean that we procrastinate. Our old habits might mean that we have a habit of saying yes all the time when we really want to say no. So what is keeping you doing those same habits again and again? Be aware of the fact that you're doing that, and then come up with a plan for what you're going to do instead. So one way to overcome old habits, bad habits, is to figure out what you're going to do instead. So it's one thing to say, I'm going to stop procrastinating. But what are you going to do instead? When you see yourself procrastinating, what are you going to do differently? When you see yourself about to say yes to being on yet another committee that you don't want to be on, what are you going to do instead? Visualize it first, and you're much more likely to stop and change your habits when you encounter those situations. Another thing that we want to look at that's still part of this plan is identifying the obstacles that get in our way. And again, as you hear me talking, although I specialize in people that have a side business, these are really things that anyone can use to make a personal change in your life, personal or professional. So again, overcoming obstacles is another challenge. So how do we overcome obstacles? First, we need to recognize that sometimes the obstacles are up here. Sometimes we are our own worst obstacle. Those limiting beliefs, you'll hear a lot of people talk about limiting beliefs and negative self-talk. Even me saying, oh, I can never run a marathon, I would need to ask myself, is it true I cannot run a marathon, or have I decided that I can't run a marathon and I've already shut that door for myself? So what is a real obstacle versus what is an obstacle we've created in our minds? And sometimes that requires talking to other people and bouncing ideas off of other people and hearing our own words coming back to us through other people to see that, oh, I'm full of it. I need to change my beliefs. I need to shift how I'm thinking about myself. Other obstacles are real life obstacles. So a real life obstacle that many of my clients face is the clock. You only have 24 hours in a day. We all only have 168 hours in a week. So how do you manage your 40-hour work week plus creating a business on the side, plus spouse, loved ones, significant others, friends, plus me time, self-care, plus anything else that might fit in there? So time is a real obstacle, but recognize that it's not an insurmountable obstacle. So some of the things I'll do with clients is create a time log. Look at how you're spending the time throughout your day. Throughout your day and throughout your week. And then let's figure out, where do you actually have the time, where do you make the time to do the things that you want to do with your life so that you can have be your best in 2015. So again, first you need to identify your purpose, which is your vision. Then you need to come up with a plan, and I gave you a few tips that I use. I also recommend that you look at that side business plan that I've sidebusinessplan.com and get that free plan that I'm giving for you. And then the third thing that you need to do is work with a partner. And Dr. Latson talked about the importance of having an accountability partner. And I highly recommend working with someone who you can bounce ideas off of, who can help hold you accountable, who can talk with you about your goals, help you figure out if your obstacles are real or imagined, help you figure out what your next actions should be. Now, that accountability partner could be your significant other. That accountability partner could be a friend. That accountability partner could be other business owners that are doing the same thing, or at least that are all trying to grow their businesses. Or your accountability partner could be a coach. Now, obviously, I'm going to say work with a coach, but coaches are not for everyone. So I would say talk with a number of coaches or explore different programs to see what might be a good fit for you. See who's looking, see who does what it is that you want to do, see who's the best fit for you. As a business coach, I focus specifically on people that want to grow a business on the side. But I have experience working with people who are trying to make changes in several areas of their life. And so the book that Ed mentioned earlier, Make That Change, 8 Steps for Crafting Your Ideal Life, is for anyone who wants to make a change in your life, whether it's personal or professional. The book is available on Amazon.com, and it goes through 8 steps of how you make change, following some of the things I've shared with you today. In addition to the book, though, I also created an 8-week program to help walk you through each one of these steps. In the Make That Change program, if you work the program, if you put in the work of the program, you will get a clear sense of what your vision is. You will develop those SMART goals. You will create an action plan. You will identify your beliefs. You will identify and come up with a strategy for dealing with your obstacles. We'll even look at calculating the risks of making the change. Sometimes it's actually better not to make a change. For some people, we look at the pros and cons and realize, you know what, maybe it's better to postpone this change, which is a good answer for some people. And we do all of this in a really supportive environment with other business owners. If this sounds like something that you're interested in, then I want you to visit 8weekchange.com, the number 8weekchange.com, and check out my 8-week program. It's $97 for the 8-week program, and that's not $97 a week, it's $97 for the entire program. You get a copy of my book. In addition, you get access to the client portal where you have weekly exercises and assignments that you do. You also get access to the private Facebook group where you get to network and interact with other side business owners and other people who want to make a personal change in their life. So that's the whole program is $97, but because I'm on this live webinar with you and because I want to help you be your best in 2015, I'm also offering a bonus for this program that if you sign up for the Make That Change program for that $97, I will also gift you a one-on-one action planning session with me. So that is a full coaching session with me, which would normally be a $500 value, that you're getting for free with this $97 program. So again, that's 8weekchange, if you're interested in the 8-week program. That free report, the Side Business Success Plan, is available at sidebusinessplan.com. And what I hope I've shared with you today is how important it is for either a side business owner or anyone who wants to implement a change to have a very clear purpose, to have a very clear plan, and to have a partner who's committed to your success. I am Dr. Denise Dennis, the Side Business Strategist. You can follow me on Twitter at Dr. Denise Dennis, that's Dr. Denise Dennis on Twitter, or on Facebook or on my website. You can go to Prepared Mind Coaching, which is my company name. I'll put that up for you. All right, thank you very much. I'll hand it back over to Ed.
Oh my goodness. Okay, wow. This just gets better and better as we get to, oh my God. I mean, I knew this was a phenomenal cast, and working with us, what you guys to move up. Dr. Denise Dennis, thank you so, so much. That offer, oh my goodness. I'm about to go order it right now, so y'all hold on for a second. I got something to do real quick. If you are not inspired to move for an 8-week program, access to a portal, copy of the book, access to the private networking group, and a one-on-one session with the dynamic Dr. Denise Dennis, are you kidding me? Where do they do that at? For 97 bucks? I don't know. I mean, I think that you're here for a purpose. I know you're here for a purpose, and that could very well be to get to that point of being able to be your best in 2015. Dr. Dennis, I don't think there's even any wrap-up required because obviously this was not your first rodeo. Contact information, but go ahead and do that one more time, just in case somebody didn't catch it.
Certainly. If you would like to just stay in contact, follow me on Twitter at Dr. Denise Dennis, just as it's spelled down there without the period. Or you can follow me on Facebook at Prepared Mind Coaching or preparedmindcoaching.com to follow up on the website.
All right, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Denise Dennis. Woo, it's getting hot in here. Oh, okay, this ain't the club. Let me stop. This is so good. If you agree, please go over to the Be Your Best 2015 Facebook group and just, if that's all you can say, say, ooh wee. Say, wow, awesome, phenomenal. Just, I mean, do something. Hashtag Side Business Strategist. Come. Okay, I'm going to stop. D, we got anything in the Facebook group?
Yes, we had some good takeaways from Dr. Dennis. I was tuning in, trying to watch and listen to everything. We had Shawana out in Arizona again. She said, what am I going to do with my old habits? That was a powerful statement because, again, it takes 27 days to create a habit. 27 days to break a habit. So to even ask that question was phenomenal. And just her talking about having the vision boards and just being able to see where you're going and laying out the SMART goals, it was just so much chatter in the room. And, I mean, Dr. Dennis, phenomenal job. Phenomenal job.
Absolutely, absolutely. So go ahead and take a breath there, Lady D. I'm going to do some quick housekeeping, and you're up next. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, we certainly want to extend a hearty thank you. We're so grateful that you're here. And there's two kinds of people that we hope that Be Your Best 2015 will attract. We hope there's people that are out there that are not sure how to get the help or may not even know how to ask for help to get to that next level. But also, we want to continue to attract the type of professionals that you've seen on this call today, Andrea, Nikki, Dr. Denise, Dr. Latson, that have brought forth information, transparency, action items that you can use today. So it's a dual purpose event, and it happens every month, the last Saturday of the month. So mark your calendars in advance and just put a placeholder for this last Saturday at 3 p.m. We ain't going nowhere, y'all. This is just going to get better and better. So that being said, let me go ahead and you know, it's amazing how when you step into the arena, the things that occur. There's an Indian proverb that says, you know, when the student shows up, the teacher will arrive. And I so embrace that because it's not necessarily that when the teacher shows up that they know everything. Because as an instructor, professionally, I know that I don't know everything. I learn by doing, learn by interacting with my consultants, learn by interacting with the developers that I train, learn by working with my clients that I do personal coaching for. So, when I met my co-host, Demetra Moore, I didn't know she was going to be my co-host, first of all. And it's just been so amazing of a ride that I don't even really need this intro, but I'm going to go ahead and try to stay with the format because I feel like she's my sister that I never had. I had brothers when I was growing up, and I mean that from the depths of my heart. She is just so phenomenal. We ping ideas off of each other. We're that accountability partner that you heard mentioned. We oftentimes share ideas with one another to try and bring you guys the best programming possible, not only on Be Your Best 2015, but also on the Ed and Lady D show, which is our weekly radio show. And I'm unapologetic about that plug because it was not shameless. This is our show, so we can do that. But that being said, let's go ahead and get to the next order of business, which is Demetra Moore, who is indeed a life empowerment expert who has shared her secrets to over 200,000 people via international conferences and seminars, helping them to change their lives for the better. By implementing the signature More Out of Life strategies that she's about to share with you, you'll be able to avoid the feeling of being stuck and be able to feel confident in advancing your life in meaningful ways by using tasks that help you to get there through accomplishment in a much shorter time frame than if you were to go at it on your own. Ms. Moore worked her way back from bankruptcy at age 27 after a number of different accomplishments prior to that, which I'm sure she'll share, by seeing problems as opportunities, as well as learning to improve the overall financial outlook. Any feelings that you may have of being defeated or deflated, you about to get over them. And I just recommend that if you don't already have your pen and paper that you get one, because right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to unleash to you, introduce to some and others you already know, but I give to you Ms. Demetra Moore, who's going to share strategies to gain more out of life. Lady D, are you there?
I am here.
Awesome,
Right
awesome.
back. Am I good?
Your visual's good, your audio's good. It's your stage, lady.
Well, thank you again, Ed, for such a great introduction. It does feel weird you introducing me and we work on all these projects together, but I do understand it is a formal line of business, so I appreciate it. And thanks to everyone for staying in on the webinar. I've been watching the chats in the chat room, as you know, so again, thank you for everything. But I'm not going to waste any time. I do have some things that I want to share with you, and I'm hoping that it will leave some sort of footprint on your life. All of the speakers before me have dropped some serious information, and I mean, I was taking notes, and I'm supposed to be a speaker today, so that goes to show how phenomenal that lineup was. But I got to tell you, there's a quote, and it echoes everything that all the speakers before me have said, and the quote is, "There's only one thing worse than being blind, and that's having sight and no vision." Helen Keller said that, and that echoes so many of the things that the other speakers spoke about earlier. And when I think about that, it just brings me to a story that I want to tell you, because I really want you to walk away with something that you can utilize to change your life today. And I want you to use it today, because it's time out. It's no more excuses. We all deserve and should have more out of our lives. I want to tell you about this guy. His name was JT. JT owned a tow trucking company. He had an old tow truck at the beginning, but he was still making plans, getting contracts, growing his business, much like the other speakers talked about today. He set goals. He was out talking to other companies, trying to establish these partnerships. He was doing a pretty decent job with the hand of cards that he was dealt. But then his business started to grow even faster then his truck could possibly move. And I mean that literally. The truck was like a 85 something. It was old. But yeah, he was out there towing cars every single day. JT, much like Nikki, who spoke earlier, was an engineer in his full-time job. He was an electrical engineer, to be exact. Hated his job, quit it, and started to embark on living out his passion in owning a tow truck company. So that's takeaway number one, reiterating what Nikki said earlier, is don't be afraid to live out your passion. Just make a plan and follow it. That's pretty much what JT did. But then something happened to JT in the middle of all of this. He got a contract offered to him from a junkyard. He was excited, ready to partake in that contract. He was already in discussions with it. And then the ultimate obstacle came to him. JT's truck broke down. Like I said, it was an 85. He couldn't find parts for it. So he decided to keep patching it and patching it because he needed that contract with that junkyard. And then it came to a point where the mechanic was like, look, JT, I can keep taking your money and patching this truck, or you can make some decisions in regards to how you want to get another one. He was devastated. Think he had a $500,000 contract that he was splitting, I think, with 3 other tow truck drivers that was at stake if he didn't have a truck. So JT went home and started looking at all of the other just issues that he had going on in his life and how he could plan to get this tow truck. And for you out there, it may not be a tow truck. It may be a new job. It may be a new business venture. It may be just a new feeling of being confident and in yourself and all of the decisions that you're looking to make. It may be a new start for 2015. It may be coming out of that feeling of depression and deflated that Ed talked about in my introduction. It could be a wide array of things. But I'm here to tell you that's normal. JT felt those things when he had to make that decision. He started looking at all the numbers and everything that he had to pay and started to figure out what he could and couldn't sacrifice, and he started making a list. He decided, hey, I don't need this apartment. One of my friends does traveling consulting work. Why not go house sit for them? He took advantage of that opportunity when it was presented. So now he's no longer paying rent, utilities, all the things that we pay. The opportunity that JT took only cost him $500 a month. Now, I don't know about anybody else on this webinar, but I don't know any place decent that you can live for $500 a month, including utilities. He had cable, water, heat, everything. Nice 2,500 square foot house to house it in for $500. That was a huge sacrifice just to move out of his apartment, but he was looking at the overall objective. He wanted that tow truck. He even sold his car and started to drive his work van. He knew sometimes you have to sacrifice to get where you want to go. Which reminds me of a quote by T.D. Jakes. Sometimes we're out looking for the trees in life, but God blesses in seeds. And JT, at that time, was sowing seeds. So he moved, sold the car. That was 2 things he had gotten rid of. Then he started to say, what could I do next? He started tapping into his resources. He had already cultivated all of these relationships with these great business people and members of his family. People looked up to him simply because he stepped out on faith and started that business. Some people loaned him money. They believed in his dream, believed in his plan. He even started going out to create his own vision board of tow trucks. He went to different lots, took pictures of them, recorded the sounds of the engine. That's how specific he had gotten. He knew what that engine should sound like. He took pictures of them, pictures of the bed, had dimensions of how long it was, whether it was steel or aluminum. He had done his homework. And he was sharing the information with the people that were going to make investments in his business. And then the ultimate happened. He called his cousin and shared the information. And the cousin said, I don't believe in your dream, and nor will I fund it. And hung up. Just slammed the phone down. And for you all today, it may not have been your cousin or a member of your family hanging up in your face telling you no, they weren't going to help you. It could have been that letter you received in the mail that said no, you were not approved. It could have been that job that fired you. It could have been that diagnosis from the doctor that took the breath out of your body. It could have been your car cutting off on the interstate because you put your last bit of money in gas and you don't have anything else. It could be a wide array of things. But you too, like JT, have to dust yourself off and keep going. Because for every no or obstacle that you face, you're getting closer and closer to your destiny. So guess what JT did? He kept calling and kept looking until he found that tow truck that he wanted. He ended up getting, and this was at the end of last year, a 2012 tow truck. Got more contracts and is towing for several companies in the area. But I told you that story about JT just to let you know. There's a lot of takeaways in there, but there's a couple that I want to point out to you. Is that you, number one, have to change your mindset. When all those people told him no, he could have stopped. When the tow truck broke down initially, the older one, he could have stopped. He didn't have to give up his apartment. He could have stayed there. He didn't have to sell his car. He didn't have to do anything. But he did realize that to get to his overall goal, he had to change his mindset. And I know several of the other speakers spoke about that earlier, but I want to go into a little bit more detail of reasons why you should change your mindset. 60% of us fear things that will never, ever happen in our lives. And I want you to think about that. 60% of us fear things. And that number came from the National Institute of Mental. What if he would have stayed a part of the 60%? He would have never been able to grow his company, get the new truck or anything if he would have stayed a part of the 60%. And there's another staggering statistic I want to give you. 75% of our subconscious mind, that's a huge number, 75%. That simply means that we're programmed not to succeed. Again, change your mindset. And I know it's not as easy as people make it out, because it is 75% of your subconscious. The only way to get rid of the negative is to dilute it with positive. One of my clients calls it head trash. Our minds are full of head trash. And the solution to pollution is dilution. Dilute it with all of the positive things that the other speakers spoke about earlier. Nikki talked about meditation. I mean, Dr. Dennis talked about vision boards. You have to feed your mind positive things. You have to set goals and strategies to implement, much like JT did. He had a plan and truly, truly carried it out. And that is something I want you guys to think about today. Changing your mindset. It's only costing you. If you start diluting that negative with affirmations and quotes and things that inspire your life, you'll be amazed at the difference that it will make in your outlook. And I'll reiterate Helen Keller's quote. The only thing worse than being blind is having sight and no vision. Change your vision today. Matter of fact, everybody in the chat room and people at your house, I want you to look around and say, change your vision. Change your mind. Adjust your prescription. If people do not believe in your vision, that's fine, because they don't have the same prescription that you have in regards to the lenses that you're wearing. It's okay. Just tell them, it's okay. Change your prescription and you'll be able to see what I'm seeing. And sometimes we don't think about that in regards to changing our mind. We let the judgments and the disbeliefs of what other people say discourage us. Well, I'm here to tell you today, don't be a part of the 60%. Don't be among that set. Don't let your mind stay 75% counterproductive. Anything that you put your mind to, you can do. And the second point is you have to take responsibility. We have people, and I was one of those people, that will go to conference after conference, go to networking event after networking event, get business card after business card, and never do anything with it. How many of you know somebody like that? Or you were that person? As I can tell you I was. I'm being transparent here. That was me. I showed up for everything, made sure to meet people too, but I didn't take responsibility. I didn't take responsibility for my own destiny. I didn't take responsibility for cultivating relationships. Could you imagine what it would be like if you took responsibility for everything that you were supposed to do? Like Zig Ziglar says, when you do the things that you're supposed to do them. And that is a true quote. Because we love to go out and just sometimes feel accepted and validated, but we don't take responsibility for the next steps and strategies that we're supposed to implement. I heard a study the other day, and I wish I could have gotten the information to pass on to you, but it said that your mind cultivates millions of ideas every single day. And after 5 seconds, that thought or that new idea is gone. Think about that for a second. How many times have you said, oh, I'm going to do so-and-so, or you thought about doing something and didn't do it because you talked yourself out of it as a result of the negative subconscious you have? And I know I've done that. And then you see your idea being carried out by somebody else. It happens. But like Zig Ziglar says, when you do the things you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do them, there will be a time when you can do what you want to do when you want to do it. And those are the two takeaways I wanted to share. I mean, just think about everything I told you about JT and his story. He's out running his tow truck business. Matter of fact, he hired a driver now. But he would have never been able to embark on his dream if he wouldn't have, number one, changed his mindset, and number two, taken responsibility for his situation. He could have said, oh, the poor tow truck, oh, the man couldn't fix it, oh, it's old, so the parts don't exist anymore. He could have found several excuses. But what I want to tell you guys today is get off of your mat of excuses and being of negative mindset. You're in a cycle. Break the cycle. The next time somebody asks you about a situation or something you've encountered, you shouldn't talk about, oh, woe is me, oh, that happened, oh, every time I do this, it always get a negative result. Okay, do something different. It's so many opportunities out there. And one of my favorite quotes to myself is, when an opportunity presents itself, all you can do is be ready. Guys, get ready. The opportunities are there. So adjust your mindset and take responsibility. That's all that you have to do. And the last thing, and I said it earlier, is when you make excuses. It doesn't help at all. It doesn't add any value to your life. It doesn't give you anything. The only thing it does cost you is the time that you could be spending living your life full out. And there's one thing I want to leave with you, and it stood out to me when I heard Diana Nadd's TED Talk. And for you all who don't know who that is, that was the woman that swam from Cuba to Florida. She said, all of the true things that people have said about me, I agree with. But I want to let you know, I am walking around tall because I am that bold, fearless person. And I will be every day until these days are done. So I'm challenging all of you today to be that bold, fearless person and do it to the end of your days. Live full out. You only get to do it once. And with that being said, I'm going to close by giving you a little token for staying on the webinar today. I want you to text. The number is 980-201-2458. Text the word New Year, all one word, NEWYEAR, and you will receive what I call a success itinerary. What you would do with that is start planning out your goals and strategies and target dates of things that you're going to do to, number one, achieve success in your life. And in doing that, you're taking responsibility. And by taking responsibility and writing those things out, you're adjusting your mindset, because you are then believing that your goals and dreams are possible and that you too deserve to have more out of life. That's all I have, Ed. The mic is yours.
Oh my God. Good job, Lady D. You brought it. And they ain't even ready in Ellicott City next week. That was hot. Okay, oh my goodness. So there were so many nuggets that you dropped there. Great presentation. And I'm going to try as best I can to grab a couple of nuggets. I was trying to keep up with the Facebook page. And for those of you that are on the call, go over to the Be Your Best 2015 room. Post your takeaways. Post your kudos. If there's any questions you want to just keep in contact with any of our speakers, to include Demetra, please go over to the Facebook. Hit the Facebook buttons, the Google share, the Twitter buttons up above. pay this forward. This has been one phenomenal, amazing, unbelievable broadcast, and I thank you all so much for hanging out. And I'm overwhelmed, and I'm the host. So that being said, I'm going to take a quick pause for the cause. Lady D, I'm going to leave you with the mic so I can just take a quick breath before I do my thing.
Okay, no problem. Guys, I hope you are enjoying this event. I have gotten so many nuggets. I'm going to go look in the chat room and see what's going on in there. Since I was speaking, I was missing some of the nuggets that you guys were posting. And I want to make sure that I give shout outs to everybody that's on. Again, Ed and I appreciate it. And I'm going to plug our show again because, again, this is our show too. Check us out every Saturday at 11 o'clock. It's called the Ed and Lady D Show. And Ed and I will post that information in the Be Your Best chat room so you can tune in and check us out every Saturday at 11 o'clock. So, yeah, that is a plug because this too is our show. And again, we're excited to share all of these great speakers that you heard today. It was a joy working with them on this project, and I'm looking forward to doing other things with them in the future. And I'm going to, since my tablet is pulling up, I'm going to give you some feedback from the chat room and see what was going on in there. It was on fire earlier, so let's see what you guys have put out there. They had nuggets for me. Change your vision, change your mind. 75% of our subconscious is negative. I mean, that's just phenomenal. And for every and Shawana out in Arizona said, for every obstacle you face, you're getting closer to your destiny. Thanks, Shawana. That was a great shout out. And Dr. Laston, thank you. God blesses in seeds. It was just a wide array of things that I'm glad you guys were able to pull out of that speech. I really wanted it to change some people's lives, give them some things that they could take part in today to make a difference. I really wanted that. And let me look at one more other thing and see what's out here. And the quote from Helen Keller, I see that was posted out there. I'll reiterate it again. It says, the only thing worse than being blind is having sight and no vision. And that is such a powerful statement. So everybody today, you have some sort of vision. That's why you're here. That's why you stay tuned into this webinar. That's why you've invited people to come and watch. That's why you told somebody. For all this, that's why you posted it and promoted it, simply because you have a vision for your life and a vision for how you want things to be. So as Dr. Dennis spoke about earlier, I'm challenging you, go create that vision. Make it real. Create it. Look at it every day. Say positive things to yourself so you can start diluting the head trash. That's what my client calls it, head trash. So start diluting it. You have the power. Dilution kills pollution. So try that today. And let's see. I got to read Ed's introduction. So I'll be pulling that up shortly when he comes back to grab the mic. But again, thank you guys so much for everything. We'll be doing this every last Saturday. If you're interested in speaking, definitely please contact us. I can give you my email address, and Ed can give his when he comes back. My email address, if you're interested in speaking, is Demetra, that's spelled just like my name, at More Out of Life, and that's MOORE outoflife.com. And just let me know that you want to speak. I can send you the necessary information so we can have you featured, just like these speakers who were here today. And let's see if there's anything else. I don't want to omit anybody who was in the chat room. Anicia Carter says, my takeaway is no procrastination. And she put YOLO. YOLO means you only live once. So definitely take heed to that. You only get one life. You got to live full out, right, Ed?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And could you give me 1 second? I'm going to pull up your intro so I know we don't have to do it, but formal line of business.
Got to stay structured.
Right. So Ed, could you do some housekeeping while I pull up your intro?
Absolutely. So for ladies and gentlemen, again, we want to just really extend our deepest gratitude for your participation, for your support, for your encouraging words to help us know that we are actually hitting the mark with our service, which we believe is, our duty to just be able to, one, be able to tap into the gifts that we've been given and to share and extend that through connecting, which will hopefully help us as we all continue to move forward to correct some things that we have heard today, and be able to eventually, no matter where you're at, be able to do a little bit of climbing. And so we're just really, really ecstatic to have such a following, to have such a support system, and have accountability. So we are delighted, and it's only because of you, our viewers. So please come back and join us every last Saturday of the month for Be Your Best 2015. And then every week you can join Lady D and I on the Ed and Lady D radio show every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So we look forward to you guys' continued support and encouragement. All right, you ready to rock and roll there, Lady D?
I am. I was trying to find your intro, but you know what? I'm just going to roll with it. I talk to you every day.
Exactly.
I talk to you more than anybody else I could possibly think of. Every woman has a phenomenal story. He's going to tell you what mad means, but I can tell you mad ain't bad. That's how he says it. He's going to drop some serious nuggets on you that is going to change your life. He's going to talk about how he went from the lowest part of his life to some of the highest points in his life, how he's mentoring and being active in the community and changing the lives of so many people. Matter of fact, this weekend he's part of an event that's changing the lives of so many men. They put together a basketball tournament to make a change in the community. Those are the things that he's passionate about. And again, I'm not going to steal this thunder, but I just want to tell you that mad ain't bad. And Ed will definitely elaborate on that. So Ed, the floor is yours.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Am I up on the big screen?
Not yet. I can still see myself up there.
You're still up there, so let's see here. How about now?
You're on.
All right. So thank you all so much. And wow, I don't know how I'm never awestruck or scared, but right now I'm like, oh my God, I gotta bring it in order for this to actually finish off well. And I'm just again so gracious to our previous guest, my co-host, the delightful Lady D. But today, as I am afforded the opportunity to share with you guys, I want to ask the question, with all the information that you've been provided today, in your virtual instance or in your virtual room, I want you to raise your hand if you're ready for a breakthrough. If it hasn't already happened, are you ready for a breakthrough? And it's been obvious and it's been made very plain that breakthroughs don't just happen. It'd be kind of crazy to go to a store, buy a bunch of hammers, buy a bunch of nails, and expect that the wall that you had in your mind was just going to build itself. That would be absolutely nuts. Would you not agree? And, as I was preparing for this presentation today, a number of things were going through my mind, and I'm like, okay, what's the right approach? What's the right story to frame the whole experience? Because it's not about me exclusively. I'm included in part of what I'm going to share with you today, but what I was reminded of is an awesome time in my life. Excuse me 1 second, my dog is going nuts. Okay, I'm back. My little Jack Russell gets temperamental at times when people walk past, so I had to take a pause for the cause to grab the dog. But as I was thinking about what and how to put together the whole framework of today's discussion, I was reminded of we're about to approach the 30-year anniversary of one of the most phenomenal times in my life. And what's so phenomenal about this time is that it was the culmination of a process that resulted in having an undefeated season in basketball in the city of Detroit. Now, 30-year anniversary kind of dates me a little bit because I know I look far too good to be that old. Amen. But that's okay, because the reality is it is the 30-year anniversary of me graduating from high school, and the peaks and valleys that have occurred between then and now have been numerous. There have been a number of different accomplishments, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I came from some broken home. That's not my story. I'm not going to tell you that I was beaten as a kid. That's not my story. There were some traumatic things that took place, and I'm not even going to really expound on those today, but what I really want to focus on is that undefeated season and the process of what was required to get there. How many people have embraced or feel as though process is something that's necessary? I mean, if you've listened to anything that was shared today, I think the other common theme that you heard was no matter what approach you took, no matter which person resonated with you most, I think what you heard was that all of them require process. And see, as I revert back to that 30-year anniversary of the undefeated season, it didn't just happen. See, we were lucky to have a coach by the name of Ed Rachel. God rest his soul. And although he was a basketball coach, Ed Rachel was a role model of role models. And at the time, I didn't particularly care for Eddie, just kind of like Dr. Latson said earlier. He wasn't too crazy about his dad because his dad was all about discipline. And that was the epitome of Eddie Rachel. And so when I was sitting here thinking, okay, well, what story am I going to tell? That discipline, that structure, that accountability, that mandate to be excellent, I didn't like it at the time. I didn't like running cross country off season. I didn't like having to go and run mile after mile after mile. I was a basketball player, for God's sake. But in my mind, I thought I was that cat. I thought I was going to the NBA. I thought I was just on the top of the world because I played for a magnificent program. But how many of you perhaps have experienced the fact that despite what's going on inside your head, or what appears to be going on as people look at you, there could be some very different things that are brewing down inside your soul, that are brewing inside of your heart, that are brewing inside of the different encounters that you have. You see, because despite that undefeated season, there have been some trials, some tribulations that I've encountered, one of which that's very significant that I want to share is that after all these accomplishments that I mentioned, after having worked for some of the greatest companies on the planet, I found myself in the worst place I couldn't have imagined it, to be quite honest. I found myself standing on the doorstep of hell as a crack addict that had pretty much given up on life, that had attempted to commit suicide, that had totally given up. This undefeated champion that knew hard work, that knew promise, that knew perseverance, that knew accountability, I had fallen to my absolute lowest in life. And this was only about 8 years ago. It's going on 9, but it was about 8 years ago. And I share that with you not to seek pity, not to be in a pity party of any sort, but what I've shared that with you for is because I'm back. And the title of my first published book is Back from Broken. And so I share that story with you to hopefully frame the reference and to also incorporate you into the feeling and the mindset that no matter where you are in your life, if you take heed to the quote by Henry Ford, it says, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right. And so even though I had experienced being an undefeated champion, after experiencing being on top of the world, after experiencing the peaks and valleys of life, I still came to realize about 8 years ago that my mindset was jacked up. You see, because I had, at the end of that journey where I said I was standing on the doorstep of hell, I found myself sitting in the square of Decatur, Georgia, smelling like something really foul, looking like something nobody would dare stop and speak to. In fact, at that point in time, instead of when people saw me back then, they hit the gas to get on up the road as quickly as they could. But now, by the grace of God and through his majesty and the wonders and the ultimate alignment of purpose with which he had me on this planet, I don't think people are hitting the brakes these days. What you think? I think they're willing to actually take a moment and just actually take heed to a thing or two I might have to say. And by virtue of having gone through those experiences, by virtue of going through certification to become a certified life coach, I now am so grateful because I finally found that I am walking in alignment. Are you walking in alignment with what your purpose is for being on this planet? Despite all the things that you may have gone through, one of our speakers earlier said it doesn't matter what happened yesterday. Are you walking in purpose? Are you walking in destiny? Are you executing the process to get you to where you are? If not, I'm going to offer to you these three things, and I call it the MAD principle. And it ain't bad. In fact, it's necessary. The MAD principle consists of, first and foremost, as you've heard today, adjusting your mindset, which requires that perhaps you may need to turn away from some of the television. Yeah, that's why that was not a mispronunciation. You need to turn away from the television so much. It's okay to check out Scandal every now and then. I do. That's my guilty pleasure. I got to check out Scandal every week. And if you haven't seen the new episode for this season, oh my God, it was hot. And I won't give it away. But you have to change your mindset. You know, there's okay to have that balance that Dr. Denise Dennis spoke about, is being able to, you know, have some time for play, have some time for work, have some time for loved ones, have some time for just me. You know, and that was one of the things that I was caught up in. I wasn't able to properly put things into perspective because I felt as though I had to be everything to everybody all the time. And I found in the midst of that, I neglected me. And upon finding me, I realized, there are some things that I perhaps want to change about myself. I know, and I don't know, maybe you're sitting there saying, you know what, yeah, maybe I do need to quit hanging out with certain people. Maybe I do need to quit giving my attention and my energy to the things that are draining me. Maybe I need to step away from those people that are not being encouraging, not being supportive, not helping me to move forward or move to that next level. I don't know. I can't speak for you, but I know for me, I felt as though I was isolated, which is a primary symptom, along with self-centeredness, along with selfishness. That was the core of the disease of addiction that I suffered from. I don't know what your story may be, but I do know this, that mindset is required, or mindset adjustment is required in order for us to step outside of our comfort zones, because that's where success actually occurs, is outside of the comfort zone. And that's where you'll find that your greatest and most amazing adventures will take place are outside of your comfort zone. What are some examples of that, Ed, you might be asking yourself? Well, instead of waking up doing the same thing every day over and over and over and over and over and over and over again and complaining, as Demetri pointed out, well, okay, stop complaining. Don't give up. Put forth some energy to try and do something different. But it requires that you adjust the way that you perceive things. It requires that you adjust the things that you allow to take up your time and your energy, and that you give your attention to. I'm reminded of a African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, take a tribe. And what that really and truly means is that as you're moving along this journey, you're incorporating the MAD principle, your mindset is adjusting, and as we heard earlier, you're going to need some partners, you're going to need some accountability along the way, and what that ultimately leads to is the need to take some action. So we've got some clarity on what the actual mindset is, how do we adjust that, but now we need to understand, okay, so what is it that I can actually do? And we certainly want you to have takeaways that can be put into action. Principle number 2 of the MAD strategy is to be able to put forth the energy, put forth the necessary discipline that is required in order to help you execute on that SMART plan, as Dr. Dennis shared with you. And that acronym was so awesome, so amazing, that it's something that can give you the guidelines by which to take control of your life. And it requires action, because faith without works is dead, as the undisputed #1 bestseller on the planet says. Happens to be one of my favorite books as well. That's something that Dr. Latson and I share in common. But again, even for you that may not be enthralled spiritually, those of you that may be enthralled and have clarity of it, you have to understand that in order for a change to take place, there's got to be some action. And that action is going to oftentimes stretch you outside of what you're comfortable with. It's going to stretch you outside of what you're used to, but the rewards are so awesome. And one of the things that I oftentimes like to say to my clients is, you know, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but more so where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. And that's not mine, that's not brilliantly Edwards, that's Dr. Martin Luther King's words. But the reality of what that means is it's easy to walk around when everything is okay, smiling and cheesing. But the real character becomes apparent when you're faced with stepping outside of that comfort zone. When it comes to extending yourself beyond what you're used to, when it comes to people saying, nah, you can't do that. What makes you think that you're good enough to do that? I don't know. Maybe some of you have experienced that situation where you're going through a particular mode or season in your life, as Andrea pointed out. You're going through one of those seasons and you're attempting to do something different, and you got a bunch of naysayers in your ear telling you you can't do it. Or better yet, you might even be having a war with yourself where you're sitting there and it's like, oh, well, you need to go ahead and do that. You can absolutely do it. Go for it. It sounds like a fabulous idea, but on the other shoulder you got some, are you kidding me? You don't have enough education. You ain't smart enough to do that. You don't have the skills to do that. Well, absolutely I do. I know this in my call. I know I have greatness within me. I know I have the purpose. I know I have the power. I know I have the strength. I know I have the grace of God to accomplish this. Really, dude? Are you kidding? I mean, I don't know. Maybe you have those negotiations internally. But in order to exact the change that you really and truly want, by implementing the MAD strategy, again, adjusting that mindset, taking the action necessary based upon the information that's presented to you, based upon the tapping into the greatness that is within you, it will take you to heights that you have never seen. It will take you to places you would never have imagined. And you'll meet people like you've been exposed to on this broadcast today that you would have never thought would cross your path. Because I can assure you, when I was sitting in that square on Decatur, broke, busted, and disgusted, I never imagined that 8.5 years later, I'd be a published author. 8.5 years later, I'd be known as Ed Womack, the life transformer. I'd have friends like Dr. Latson, Dr. Denise Dennis, Andrea Harris, a co-host like Demetra Moore, Nikki Nickerson, my personal photographer now, former attorney. I never would have thunk it. So I submit that to you and say to you, you have greatness within you, but in order to get there, it's going to require the third step in the MAD principle, which again, MAD ain't bad. And if you're ready for a breakthrough, it's absolutely necessary. So my final point to close out with is that determination, because again, after you've gotten that mindset, you've adjusted the thinking, you've adjusted the things you give your energy to, you began to change your daily habits, because as you're changing your daily habits and you begin to take action, you will begin, and others will begin, to see the fruits of your labor. But be not fooled, everybody is not going to be happy for you. And some of those people that are not going to be happy for you might even be the very closest people to you. But brace yourself, because it's going to take place. And what I really want you to understand is, as you're going through that final step, is that you need to embrace the ability to fail. What you talking about, Ed? Yeah, you need to be able to embrace the ability to fail, and fail often, fail gracefully, but get back up. Because see, one last thing that I want to say to you, we are going to encounter setbacks. We're going to encounter challenges. And if you haven't it to this point in your life, I just say just keep living, because they're coming. And hopefully they won't be quite as traumatic as what my bottom was. It's different for everyone else. But determination is grounded in the embracing of being okay with failing. If you go to my website, www.thetipsacademy.com, on the main page, there's 3 free resources. And for everybody that's on this call, go ahead and download all 3 of them. There's Free Yourself from Yourself, and there's the 5 steps to make failure a friend. Great articles that I'm just going to give away because you're on this call, but I give away anyway. But more specifically, you now get an advance notice and a personal invitation from me. And here's what I'm going to do, because it's going to ask you for your email and your address. For the first 5 people that actually go to my website and download the article, I'll also extend to you a 30-minute consultation free of charge for the Top Bound coaching program. So the first 5 people that go out to my website, download either Free Yourself from Yourself or the 5 success steps to overcome failure, I'll give you a free 30-minute consultation with yours truly, Ed Womack, the Life Transformer. And what I'm going to leave you with today is this. You know, it doesn't take clarity of the entire staircase, and you can't even sometimes see the entire staircase, but you got to take that first step in order to begin the journey of greatness that is buried within you. And I know by virtue of the fact that you showed up for Be Your Best 2015 that you either have greatness within you or you're seeking that as a destination. And I just say this to you as I try to close out with destination, or with the MAD principles. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then crawl. But whatever you do, just keep it moving. Because you know my motto, good, better, best, we can't let it rest until our good is our better and our better is our best. And we'll look forward to seeing you back here next month, the last Saturday, and we'll also see you at the top, because the bottom's entirely too crowded. Lady D?
And this was a great
There she goes. Here she comes. Here she comes.
Oh, I'm here. I'm just saying it was a great show. I enjoyed the lineup today. I love your quotes. You know, even though we work on different projects, I love for you to say those quotes simply because they resonate so well with me, and I'm quite sure they resonate with other people. But again, thank you guys for tuning in. Please share this information. Join us next month. The last Saturday of the month will be on 3 o'clock, same time. We look forward to seeing you at our next, literally, will you sing us the next time. So thanks again for all of your support. We definitely appreciate it.
Thanks all.